Salutations and welcome to Shut Up and Take My Money, the show where we talk about the latest and greatest announcements in the world of collecting. Joining me as always on this topic is Mr. Mike Puza.
Hello.
How are you today, sir?
Good.
Did I interrupt you during playtime?
Yes.
And before we get started, if you haven't yet, make sure you hit that subscribe button and that bell for notifications so you're notified every time we drop anything that we decide to do, because our consistency is that of a child. And starting out the gate, we had Marvel Legends dropping, what, like one reveal this past week at a time?
Yeah, it was, it's funny because we were talking before we did this. We were like, oh, there's this. And then I just remember, I was like, oh, shit. No, there was two more. But the main one we were going to talk about was a couple weeks ago. They did a reveal a day through different social media YouTuber influencers. Is that what they're called now?
Yeah.
Influencers?
They're influencers because they influence our pocketbooks.
Yeah, but they had like the Foosh, Shartimus Prime, and a few other people that I'm not overly familiar with, but you can check out any of the news on this and get the info for those channels if you'd like. Basically, they started off revealing. They revealed like Callisto from the Morlocks, which X-Men, 90s X-Men, like that's my bread and butter right there. Mm-hmm. Like gimme, 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 gimme. And I was already like, okay. And then they did Jason Wingard with two different heads. They had his illusion head and then his what he really looks like head, which is kind of like a weird like John Waters Hitler type of look. And then they did I think it was the shirtless Wolverine, which we kind of already knew was coming because they teased it, but he has like some scars and he has like a bloody eye and a couple alternate head. So that looks pretty cool. It's supposed to be from the Outback X-Men where he was like crucified on the X like that.
Yeah. Correct me if I'm wrong, but did the figure not have nipples?
No, it has nipples.
Does it have nipples? Every image I've seen, it was like
nipples.
Every image that I seen of it was I would say a lower quality, so like you couldn't really see all the detail in the figure.
Right. I think what they do is they just like sculpt them in, but they don't like paint them, so they're like flesh colored nipples.
Okay.
And then the one the next day that had me really confused and like, oh, okay, was a redeco of Omega Red and like a brighter red, which people are saying like, oh no, that's like his Marvel vs. Capcom look. Yeah,
I've seen people say that too.
Which I'm like, okay. Then the last one they did, which I was like, when I saw it, I was like, who? But then like you have people commenting like, oh, this is great, this is amazing, I was hoping we'd get him. Cyber?
Yeah, I'm surprised you didn't know who that was, and I did. Like, I think it's known that like I'm not the biggest X-Men freak, so the factor I was taken back that I was like, wait, how do I know Cyber? And Mike didn't know who Cyber was. Like, this is
a lot of my X-Men knowledge comes from the TV show,
right?
But then I saw like, because I obviously after I saw that I was like, I gotta Google this. So
to the Google machine.
And like I saw a lot of the old like Flair 90s trading cards with him. Mm-hmm. And I was like, okay. But everyone's like, oh no, he's really good like Wolverine villain. And I'm like, listen, I'm always in the market for more X-Men villains, but okay. So that was the reveals, and people were, including myself, were convinced that this was going to be a retro line. And all signs kind of pointed to it because they were all repaints, nothing like major or crazy. I was like, this could be a retro card, and come to find out that it was it's a 5-pack, Amazon exclusive 5-pack. It's kind of a weird 5-pack because like Callisto and Wingard I don't really think of as Wolverine centric enemies.
Yeah,
I personally, if they were going that route, would have liked a reissue of Sabretooth on a bigger body.
Yeah, I think everybody would.
Buck, as the community refers them to. because he's too the Jim Lee Sabretooth we have right now is too small and just too small. But there was a lot of angry people, and so if you want to ask pre-order or not, I'll save the suspense. I already did. I didn't really think twice about it because like I mostly wanted the Wingard and to fill up my villains, get that cyber figure. Mm-hmm. Callisto, I'm not like the biggest Morlocks fan. They're not really my thing. Like even though they were on the show, I still didn't really like them. They're just gross sewer people.
I mean, but now you're like 2 steps closer to actually recreating a very Morlock Christmas.
Yes, it does put so me closer.
You can dedicate a whole shelf to it.
Oh, I can get like a little Christmas tree.
Yeah,
sold. It's
all about possibilities in your view.
It is. I know you're not pre-ordering it because you don't really do the X-Men for the Legends. You mainly stick to Spider-Man and the occasional specialty one here and there. Yeah.
It's more of like I guess it would be like if it catches my eye, like, you know, randomly I pre-ordered the green She-Hulk and then I have the gray She-Hulk. I have Red Hulk, which that kind of connects with like the Thunderbolts and like how I'm desperately would love to do with Thunderbolts, like my A-Team Thunderbolts, which is like a Deadpool, Ross, Punisher, Elektra, and I can't remember who else off the kit in that deal, but like that, anybody I can really connect with the Deadpool universe, like that is actually the kind of more of a, you know, not just a special guest, but he shows up more often than not in the Deadpool stuff. But yeah, the X-Men stuff is usually a pass for me, unless it's like a selected figure. Like I have that Omega Red from whatever wave that was. Was it?
He's a good figure.
He's
a beefy boy.
Yeah, that's the other thing that gets me is beefy action figures. If it's a beefy action figure, I feel like the price point like is now severely justified because that big old hunk of plastic, it makes more sense to me.
Well, and like I remember because he came out not long after that Sabretooth, and they had done a Venom, and people were like, what are you doing? Why didn't you use this body? Like, like that body is perfect for those characters. And I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that they eventually do it. So I pre-ordered it. I'm going to end up with another Omega Red. I'm going to end up with another Wolverine. We'll see. If people were upset about it, you know, Hasbro, you're making us buy figures we don't want to get the figures we need. Of course they are. Yeah. Do you have any idea how many Build-A-Figure waves I've bought with like figures I just don't give two craps about just to get the Build-A-Figure? Like I'm still stuck with Rock Python. I can't get rid of him. The figure no one wanted. It's just like, you know, like these things are going to happen. Mm-hmm. It all goes back to you as the consumer. You have to decide, do you have to buy it or not? Nobody is forcing anybody to buy anything. Hasbro does not have a gun to your head saying, you will buy this set. You have to decide as a consumer, am I going to buy it or am I going to wait until the figures are loose on eBay and maybe pay like $30, $40 for them? If they had done this as a retro carded wave, I guarantee you would be finding that Wolverine on the shelf. You'd be finding that Omega Red on the shelf. You know, and also it gives, I mean, that Omega Red figure is kind of pricey these days. So it does give newer collectors a chance to get them because there's always people that are jumping in. And I mean, even at one point, myself, we were just jumping into these things and it's like, oh man, I hope they re-release something so I can get it because I don't want to pay
I think we're both still waiting for like some type of re-release. The Pink Ranger, is a big one for a lot of people. Like I know a good handful of people that still do not have the Pink Ranger, and I think I've seen her maybe a handful of times out in the wild. Other than that, it's always been sold out or on like this extended long pre-order on sites that like just doesn't seem to ever get fulfilled.
Coming soon.
Yeah. So it's, I mean, like you said, you got to practice that free will, you know? You said there was a couple other Legends announcements.
Yeah, we'll just blow through them real quick. There was the Loki Mobius figure.
Yep.
Which I don't collect MCU, so that's an easy. Anytime they do MCU stuff, it's an easy pass for me.
Yeah.
I don't have the patience, the money, the time to go through and start that whole area. So like all last month when they were doing MCU stuff, sigh of relief.
Yeah, that's a hard pass for me too. Same reason. Like I have some MCU stuff, but it's a calculated reasoning as to why I have what I have of the MCU Legends.
And then the other one was the Walmart exclusive composite Hulk, which is a half red, half green Hulk from like a 2011 storyline.
Yeah, okay. So we were talking about this in our messenger, and like, okay, I get it, but I don't recall where they were ever like devised as that. Like there was a cover that I recall where it was split, where it was Banner and Ross, but other than that, like I don't remember them ever like conjoining together in that manner.
I guess it was some sort of I think it was like a ray gun or something. I didn't read it.
It was a gamma ray gun.
Maybe
because we're talking about the Hulk, because that's the only thing that can do it.
They were actually which is funny because they do it to take on, I think, Zemnu, which is the Build-A-Figure for the supervillains wave.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, and this kind of goes into everything else that we kind of talked about. Is I saw it, I went, that's dumb, not for me, and I moved on. Yeah. Like just move on. Just
I mean, like that's easy. That's easy as pie, right? Like they made the announcement, and almost in a split second, you go one way or you go the other way. Like nobody's telling you have to get like every Marvel Legend, and like if you feel the need to get every Marvel Legend, to each his own. But like Jesus, like you're spending so much money on plastic, and like, I mean, like I know me and you have come to terms with this, but like there's no return on investment with these things.
No, there's no guaranteed return investment or anything like that. Once again, we'll get into it. The Pink Ranger is going to be a fine example for that.
Yeah. You'll see a massive drop in secondary prices.
And even here's your segue for the day, kids. Even like the G.I. Joe Classified. Mm-hmm. I have watched the price on Major Blood plummet. Go from people buying it for $100 to $120 to I've seen listings now for like $40 to $50 because Hasbro hopefully has recognized the demand and the issues going on with it and are now equating the supply to the demand, and possibly by flooding the market, thus. And they're even doing it, like I've seen people with refining like the first wave of Cobra Island figures in Targets. So hopefully that's a good sign of things to come. But they had a couple pre-orders go up over the past couple weeks. The first one was a more traditional heavy artillery Roadblock with a big, like, which this is their fourth Roadblock in the wave, by the way.
Well, I only know the original release, the repaint. This one, what was the other one?
There was another Cobra Island one where people called it the Kimbo Slice Roadblock because he had like a big beard and like a beanie on and sunglasses, looking very. I passed on that one. I didn't order this one. Like it was one of those things where I was like maybe kind of, and then like I just kind of hemmed and hawed about it too much, and now I think it's sold out.
Well, it sold out pretty quickly. I remember you and John discussing it, and I kind of popped over to see what the deal was. Like, I'm not a G.I. Joe Classified collector, thank God. Like, I feel like I've dodged a major bullet with this line. But within like a matter of like, I don't know, like maybe an hour tops from the point of talking to me checking, it was sold out. So
it's sold out on Pulse pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Amazon, it was up there for a while, which is funny because it went up the same day that I think the Wolverine 5-pack went up. I like the G.I. Joe line. I don't want multiple versions of characters. That is not a need for me.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I passed on that. And they also this past week the Snake Eyes and Timber 2-pack went up, which is this is more akin to his original appearance for Snake Eyes, his original action figure, and the wolf. The wolf looks really cool, but once again, I have no desire for multiple Snake Eyes in my collection. So at a price point of $41, I was like, no.
I
sorry.
felt that price was a little bit steep for what you got, just because like I understand like you get the cute little puppy dog, but it's that of like a bargain bin toy. Like there's no articulation in the wolf, is it?
No, there is.
There is.
Yeah, he has full like elbows and his paws can go, and he has interchangeable heads. He has a more calm one and then like a snarling one. The articulation on him looks pretty impressive, but it comes down to, once again, this kind of comes down to like the Wolverine box set. Like, do you want to spend $40 to get what would essentially be just the wolf? You haven't, obviously you're not going to pre-order. You don't get the line.
No,
so.
no. What about what was the other two we got? We got what, barbecue and
Cobra Island Barbecue, and Cobra Island Breaker with like a bike, and he has like a huge Gatling gun on the side of it.
Yeah. That intrigued me.
The bike looks cool. The Gatling gun looks pretty cool. I have no recollection of those characters growing up. Like,
I remember Barbecue. I don't really remember Breaker though. But that, like I said, that bike was enough for me to go, oh, well, that's pretty cool.
I feel like those are definitely some like second, third, fourth tier type characters. I could be wrong. I'm not adversed in the G.I. Joe lore.
So this is what I was worried about with this line, is you got your mains out of the way pretty much. There's a few kind of knickknacks here and there.
We still don't have like an OG like straight up Storm Shadow, which is pissing me off.
Yeah.
Like I did that black and white one, which is fine and all, but not for me. I want white, all white Storm Shadow.
So you're filling those gaps pretty quickly, and you're already getting into this tier where, like you said, it's like C/D list characters, and like what, you can only repaint a figure so much before people just kind of say, no, I'm done with it. Like I feel like that's where we're heading already, and the line's only been out for like what, a year, 2 years tops, maybe.
The line has been out. No, it's coming up on a year, like where the line has officially been out on shelves.
Jesus.
I want more, fill out some more of those ranks. Like I want like maybe like a General Hawk, a Shipwreck, like characters I remember growing up.
Right.
But we'll see. We'll see what the line does. Those two releases, Barbecue, Breaker, I don't think I'm going to go as crazy for them and like need them like I did for some of the other Cobra Island ones. So it just might be one of those things, like if I stumble upon it, I'll get it maybe, but I'm not going to stress about it. I'm not going to like scour eBay or Mercari or talk to people in other toy groups to like hook me up with one. Like, it's just not worth the hassle.
So it's not a hard pass, but it's not a hard get.
It's like an in between. It's like I said, it's like if I find it, I'll get it, but I'm not going to stress over not having it or not getting it. I don't think I'll be either way, like bummed if I get it or super thrilled if I find it.
Okay, yeah, no, I'm still not. I'm not diving in yet. Like I'm gonna stay strong and stay out of this game. This feels like a young man's game where you have to be like quick on the bullet. You have to, like, you yourself, who said he would never do this, rope dropped a Target to get G.I. Joe figures. I did. Like, yeah, no, that's not my forte. I think the closest line I would ever do that for would be Ninja Turtles. And it would have to be a figure that like is like a oh shit figure for me to like get up early and go and nab it.
Here's something interesting to think about too is the hype for the line and the amount of people that are flipping them and the urgency of people feeling like all the scalpers are going to get them, is that like fueling the flames?
Yeah.
Because you meant, like we talked about, like the Roadblock, like he sold out so fast. The Power Ranger stuff we are about to talk about, to my knowledge, is not only still available at GameStop, but they still have the limited quantities available on Pulse.
Yeah, I was up randomly last night at like 3-4 in the morning and just popped in there to see, and everything was still readily available, which is a rare sight in the past like year. Like usually this stuff sells out in a matter of like minutes or hours or however long you want to say.
Everything has like a SDC feel to it. Like it's the SDC exclusive feel.
Yeah, and it's exhausting.
I think that word exclusive has this bearing and this weight now where people think, like, even I thought it with the Power Ranger stuff, and spoiler alert, I pre-ordered some of it. Even I thought that, like, oh, I had to get on there like right away or it was going to sell out. Like, just because the culture has made me think that, like,
oh yeah.
And I think it's just the G.I. Joe. Like, I think part of it is after that first Cobra Island wave, it just kind of snowballed and morphed into this urban legend of like, everybody's buying them. We got to find them. And it kind of, I don't want to say made this false inflation, but it caused it inadvertently. Like the panic that people feel when these come out, like they need to get them. They need to get them. Yeah. And because people are panicking and wanting to get them, your average scalper thinks, oh, this is a elusive item. I can buy them. So now the words Cobra Island are exclusive. So people are like, oh, it's instantly going to be something people want. I need to buy all of them and flip them, or I need to hurry up and run and buy them. And it's just created this perfect storm of hecticness and terribleness in that particular community and collection, that it, for somebody like you, makes it not seem like something fun or enjoyable to do. Right.
Yeah.
Jesus. Oh, I've been holding that in for a long time.
This is what it is. It's comic. It's action figure therapy.
The thing is I never actively, when they started doing the G.I. Joes, I was never like, I'm gonna buy those. I saw them. I was like, those are kind of cool. Yeah. I saw pictures. I was like, I wasn't really a Joe fan. Easy pass for me. And then one fateful Walmart trip, I walked in. They had just put the whole side stack out, and I was like, I'm gonna get them all. And I bought them all, and I was like, these are really cool. And then it was done.
I will say that, like, I'll give props where props is due in this line. It looks really good. Like, and that's the hardest temptation, right? Is like, I grew up playing with the old G.I. Joes, like the really old G.I. Joes that my uncles used to play with. Nope. Oh. Yeah. So like, I'm no stranger to the line or the mythos of G.I. Joe, but I was never my forte when I was younger. Like, I was more into Turtles, I was more into Power Rangers, I was more into
same
all that stuff, Spider-Man, etc. So like, Joe was one of those things where, like, I kind of sat on it when you said you found the whole first wave, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, it seemed to explode. And I was like, okay, yep, no, I'm not going to touch this. It's an easy pass. I'm just going to let, you know, the wind in the sail take the boat where it may. And there's times I find, like, you know, that I call him pimped out Destro. I've seen him, and I'm like, Destro. Man, I was like, that is such a cool figure. Like, I would think I'm gonna buy it, and then I go, no, do not dabble in this community of Joes, because, like, as soon as you buy one, then the hunt's on. Then you're part of the wrangle, and I just
like Pringles. No,
yeah, once you pop. But moving on to, I guess our I would say probably the hottest part of this discussion is Hasbro did one of their Fan First Fridays with pink in the theme, and
Pioneers of Pink, or Pink Pioneers, or something like that.
Is that what they called it?
Something like that, yeah.
Covering Power Rangers, actually having a relatively decent announcements in the Power Rangers category for the first time in what feels like since the beginning of the line. I feel like they kind of come off short compared to all the other Hasbro lines.
Yeah, I think the Marvel Legends team like really sets the bar as far as like charisma and entertaining goes.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, I've said before,
they're the rock stars of the group for sure.
They are. Like, you can tell, like, those guys, they know their stuff and they love what they do. Whereas I've watched other panels for other lines, and some of the other people seem like it's just a job to them.
Right.
You know?
No, I 100%
agree. You can't fake passion. You can't. But no, it was a solid line. They had done one about a month ago where they announced like the only thing I can remember that they announced was the only thing I pre-ordered, which was the Trini and Scorpina, or not Trini, the Aisha and Scorpina 2-pack.
Mm-hmm.
Which I was like, well, I gotta get Scorpina, so I ordered it.
That's also still available on Avenues.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I think that was another one where they put exclusive in the front of it.
Yeah, because I think it's fan channel exclusive or something like that. It's some kind of exclusive.
Yeah. And no, it has to be fan channel because I've seen it on a couple of our normal sites that we order from.
Yeah. But yeah, they did, and we kind of knew this was coming because during their Fan Fest, where they did a bunch of lines, they had teased, like the Power Rangers team did, they were doing different capsules for different, and they said that there was going to be a Pink Ranger capsule for GameStop. There was going to be a Retro Ranger capsule for Walmart. Target and Amazon, I believe, are going to be having their own capsules as well. We don't know what they're going to be yet. And even Hasbro Pulse had their own capsule, which was the Metallic Ranger ones. And even when they announced the event, they didn't shy around it. Because I'd seen some people complaining like, oh, it was just all Pink Ranger stuff. Ooh. They didn't shy around it. Like when they sent out the email, it was in pink of the pink MMPR Ranger with her bow.
Right.
It's like, what'd you think you think it was going to be the Black Ranger? Like what?
Yeah, I knew just from the glance in the email that I was like, okay, this is all going to be Pink Ranger stuff, which is cool because like we said before, like it gives these people that missed out on MMPR Pink, which was a pretty rare figure at least in our area.
For some reason.
Yeah. And I've heard other people complain in groups and stuff about not being able to get her. So it gives them the option of like actually being able to finish the collection. Cause I've been there, dude. I've had collections where like you're one character away and you never get the character. And for some people like myself, like that kills it completely. If you
sometimes
can't get
you just
that
buckle
character
down and you drop that scalper price and you're like, fuck,
never
small price to pay for satisfaction.
Outbreak.
But I'm not sure if it's still available, but you can check. If it is, Tony, you can post the link. Entertainment Earth for a while had the pink MMPR original one up for pre-order, due for October. So there was going to be a second release on her, which I thought was pretty cool. But first on this, they announced that they were doing a Boom Comics cell shaded MMPR Ranger, Pink Ranger, which I'm of two things on this. Like, I like the cell shaded stuff, but at the same time, I'm like, I don't want to have to commit myself to buying another 6-7 Rangers to match this deco. Like, because I've already gone in on the Metallic Rangers, which I didn't plan on doing, but I'm doing.
Right.
So I made the conscious choice. I passed on that one. Especially at the price point of $26 on Pulse and $30 on Amazon or on GameStop. Like the only thing that, like, and it's a small thing, that made me go, maybe is she does come with all 3 modes of the Blade Blaster.
Oh, does she now?
Yes. She comes with the blade mode, the gun mode, and the collapsed mode. But no civilian portrait for that one. So
to confirm, yes, Entertainment Earth does have her up still for pre-order for October 2021 release. So if you are looking to just get the single card Kimberly Ranger, we'll put a link down in the description.
Because that's still the only way to get the Kimberly portrait, the civilian portrait. That's still the only option you have currently.
I would assume that it'd probably be the only one unless they do like a movie, but we've talked about that and rights and all that shit.
And we'll talk about it more.
And so this Boom figure, this Boom Pink Ranger, I was excited. Like I like the artwork of the Boom comics. I think they're fantastic. So I was super excited, and not to mention, like you said, cell shading. Like that's all pretty much like cartoon Turtles and all that stuff. Like Turtles in Time is huge on the cell shading. So that's right up my alley. What killed it for me was the $27 price point.
Yep.
Why am I paying $27 for essentially a repaint? Like, no, I'm not paying that. And I wanted the figure. It wasn't until I went and seen, and I was like,
you know what's funny?
This is stupid.
About it is we both sat there and we went, no, I'm not buying it. And what did we do? We moved on.
We moved on.
Like, I mean, I would say with the way that most GameStop exclusive figures have gone for the Lightning Collection, hold out, because I guarantee you'll be able to find it on sale.
Yeah.
Guarantee it. Guarantee it.
Yep. That you just made me think about how Goldar was in
at one point like $5.
Yeah.
At one point he was like $5. So I mean, I'm not going to sweat that one. There's like you said, there were certain things I liked about it. I liked how like on the white parts they had some of that blue shading in. I thought that looked really cool. I like the shading on the helmet, how it has like some black on the mouth, and it looks really cool. But and getting into the next reveal, if you're gonna make me buy second versions of the MMPR team through these 2-packs that they're doing, I'm not gonna buy another. You're not gonna get me with another set. Like, I only have so much space, and soon, like, so realistically, let's say, okay, I have my core 5 here, my original MMPR team plus the white and green Ranger. So I've already gone in on the metallics. So in the end, that's going to be another 6. And then if I end up getting like another red Ranger with Rocky and a black Ranger with Adam and another blue Ranger, well, now I have like the later season version with the white Ranger. Like you can do 2 separate displays. So now you got 3 displays of essentially the same figure. Now you want me to do a 4th with the cell shaded ones? No.
See, okay, so there's actually, you pointed it out. That's where we differ. Like I only have those MMPR. Those are the only ones I got. I didn't throw in on the metallic. I kind of waited, and honestly, it paid off for me. Like they gave us Cat's head sculpt with the 2-pack we're about to talk about. Which now she has the most head sculpts of any of the Rangers.
Crazy, she now has 3 different head sculpts. But yes, they announced that they were doing a Pink Ranger 2-pack of Cat that comes with 2 alternate heads, one with her hair down and one with her hair back, and you get MMPR Pink, a re-release again for once again if you missed out and you want to skip those pre-orders on the original, and then Zeo Ranger 1 Pink, which is a pretty wild 2-pack to think about it. Like, to give you like the second to last one that we need to finish the team. And see, here's the thing: they're so smart. They're so smart in doing this. Like people are mad, and I'm just sitting here going like,
you gotta give it. Yeah, you gotta give the marketing team.
You know
props,
what you're doing because you know people want to finish their teams. So put out a 2-pack. And then I guarantee you, like a year from now, they'll probably release her single carded.
Yeah.
And once again, they're so smart because they know, like, a lot of us, when MMPR done, even Zeo, like, we're tapping out.
Yeah.
But they keep peppering in these peppering in these things like the Scorpina set and this and that, like where you're like, well, I guess I'm on the ride a little bit longer.
Mm-hmm.
I guess
I'm hoping we've said this before, that with this new team and they redo some monsters, or they do some more monsters but with better paint apps, because the two that we got in the paint apps that were on them,
good. Nope.
Like, it killed it for me. It killed that line for me. I was so excited about this line when we first launched.
But the scale. Like,
yeah.
I get that they wanted to do monsters and big, but King Sphinx shouldn't dwarf Goldar.
Yeah.
Like, they're the same size.
I think wasn't Sphinx just a tad bit taller, and that was just because of his headdress?
But like, these are significant differences. Like, you know, he's, I think, like more around the 7-inch mark, and Goldar is still around like the 5-6-inch mark. Yeah. It's ridiculous. Like, I couldn't even bring myself to buy them on cheap on Amazon.
Me either.
I just couldn't do it. But the Pink Ranger 2-pack is really awesome. It even comes with a little Kit Kat cat.
Yeah.
That transforms. And then she has her shield, and the second I saw it, I was like, it wasn't even like a second of like, well, maybe. It's like, nope, getting it.
Yeah, I can say that I did pre-order the 2-pack as well. So,
because like I said, what's going to end up happening is we're going to end up getting these two in Rocky and Adam heads in some kind of 2-pack or something. You're going to end up with a second set of Rangers. Mm-hmm. And so it might as well do one display with the White Ranger to represent that season, and one display with the Green Ranger to represent that season. Yep. I've justified it. That's all I needed to do in my brain.
You are probably going to do that, but I think maybe when more pictures are released, I might try to take that other Pink Ranger and customize that to look like the cell shaded Boom Ranger.
What I'm
because
wondering,
I would love the Boom Rangers in that style. Like, I would crave that so hard, but that price point hurts. That's a kick in the gut.
Sticker shock.
Yeah.
And what I'm wondering and hoping, if once we get her in hand, if she'll have like cleaner paint, because like how like her holster, like you can still kind of see like the pink showing through. Yeah, because that was a point of contention. Because I know they've kind of, at least in the package, a lot of people complained about her being kind of bow-legged. She doesn't look bow-legged in the package image. You know, granted, it's a promotional image. Right. But so I'm wondering, I'm like, did they fix that? That's one thing I always hope with these re-releases, is that they fix some of the shortcomings, which is another reason why I think we're getting another Red Ranger. Come hell or high water. Because of the helmet. Because we know they've redone the helmet. We've seen it on the Red Sentry. We've seen it on the metallic red. Yeah. And it's, you know, so here's my fear, is that they're going to do it and he's going to be available in like a 2-pack. So if you want your Jason one to have a good helmet, you're going to be like, oh, I'm going to buy 2-packs so I can just get the helmet. So moving on to the big boy toys. This is what makes me drool, is when they do stuff like this. We got the hit up of the Pink Ranger helmet and the Pink Ranger Morpher. There's some very interesting things that people are mentioning about the Morpher, and we've talked about this. People are mentioning that, and even in the description, it even mentions the 95 movie. But notice that it does not, because that's how the Morphers looked in the movie. They were color coded like that. Yeah. But I have 2 of the movie legacy ones. Mm-hmm. So actually, when you would sit that stuff out to me, I was out and about, and I totally forgot I have that Pink Ranger Morpher. So thank God I will not be pre-ordering this Pink Ranger Morpher. Spoiler alert: I will not be either. I have the one main Morpher. That's all I need. But in the description, it mentions something about movie inspired and something about, you know, imagine it's 1995 and you're going to see the, like, but on the box it says nothing. It doesn't say Mighty Morphin Movie Morpher. Yeah. Or anything like that, which once again, I think solidifies even more so that they do not have the rights to make those movie figures. That Disney more than likely has those.
Yeah.
Because they own that movie.
I mean, hopefully, like, I hold out some sort of hope, because it's not like we're talking about like one of the smaller companies. We're talking about Hasbro here. So I hold out hope that Disney might work in a partnership if this line can get some fucking ground. Like, I feel like that if this line could like shoot like a Marvel Legends line, I'm pretty sure Disney will play ball. But if Disney can't see any, actual nice return in profit, because you got to remember, this is the same studio that said that Avengers 2 was a failure and Iron Man 3 was a failure.
$1 billion.
Yeah. So like, they expect a lot out of their return. That's so I'm holding out loose hope, I would say. It all matters if this line could actually catch fire like I would hope it would.
The only reason I would want multiple morphers is if I could just have the regular morpher displayed with each power coin in it. I have no desire to have like color coded ones or anything like that. And some people even mentioned, and it might have worked if with this one, instead of having the dinosaur coins, if they would have had the Ninjetti coins instead.
Yes.
Because that would be more movie accurate. But once again, that goes back to, would that be too movie specific and legalese, blah, 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 blah.
Right.
It's a cool little nichey, gimmicky thing. I do think we will see these on clearance at GameStop. I don't think they will be flying off the shelf, which unfortunately may hinder any more being made. So if you want to get all the different ones, it might be a problem. Which also might make people thinking that way even more hesitant on buying it. If I can't complete it, why buy it? Right.
Exactly. What about the helmet? Did you pre-order the helmet?
Yes.
I pre-ordered the helmet.
I did.
Okay, so we both had our gripes with the Red Ranger helmet. The Kapowcast review was never released because it was basically literally half hour of me just like complaining and bitching about the issues that I had.
Because you got yours, there was like scuffs and stuff on the side, wasn't there?
Yeah. It was like just black paint, kind of looked like it was just like smeared underneath the clear coat. And I still have not heard back from Hasbro.
Have you ever been wearing, like when you were a kid, wore dress shoes? I know this because I'm saying this because I went to a private school and like we had dress shoes, and like if you like skid your shoes on the side, it would leave like a black streak on the floor.
It was very similar to that. Yes.
Yeah.
But yeah,
and so mine came with no stand.
I do have a little bit of concerns from the promotional pictures that they have given us so far. The pink on the helmet looks a little bit more of a satin finish instead of a high gloss finish. Very similar to the Bandai Red Ranger helmet that like I never picked up because it was a satin finish. It was not a clear finish, so it wasn't shiny. So I am scared for that pink does not have the gloss, and that is going to be satin. But for me personally, that would be, I think, a relatively easy fix up. I mean, just spray some clear coat and you're all set to go.
Yeah.
But I will be kind of like bummed out pulling it out of package and it's like the white's all glossy and then the pink is kind of dulled out. Like I'll be pretty bummed.
Did you pre-order from Pulse or GameStop?
Oh, I pre-ordered from Pulse. I was going to save the $10-15 or whatever it was.
Yeah, the $100 markup on GameStop's website was ridiculous.
It's
to say the least.
Insulting.
But once again, it's one of those things like, well, now you've committed to buying at least another 3 or 4 more of these helmets.
Yeah.
Because now you're like, I want to. Because I think I've always had that vision of having all the helmets, and it's gonna take up a lot of space. So I gotta figure something out here down the road. It was one of those things where I was like, because I heard that they would be announcing possibly the Pink Ranger, and that was gonna be the next helmet. So I kept thinking, I was like, will I, won't I, maybe, yes, I don't know. And then when I did it, I was just like, yeah we're doing this. We're going to do it.
So when the Red Ranger helmet thing happened, I was pretty hot. I had sworn off, like, I'm not going to buy any of these helmets again. And I mean, like, I would say it was relatively isolated. I talked to a bunch of other people that were in groups that said they had similar defects or other defects in the Red Ranger helmet, and how it wasn't just like an isolated once incident kind of thing. I mean, yours didn't come with a stand, right? Is that what happened with you?
It still blows my mind. Like, I opened it and I'm looking, I'm like, there's no stand. And then, like, we try to get a hold of Hasbro. We're like, listen, like, can you just send us a stand?
Yeah, it's not that.
And they're like, no.
Yeah.
Basically, what we ended up doing, we ended up just sending it back and buying another one. Like, they didn't do anything for us. Like, oh wait, no. I lied. They did. Because they would not do anything for us. They ended up going like, oh well, we can send you a product of equal value. Which I was like, oh boy, because I've seen some things like where people, they say they'll do that, and they'll send like a $20 like actual kid's toy.
Oh.
And but they actually sent me the Lightning Collection SDCC Gold and Red Ranger 2-pack. And I remember I actually got kicked out of a Lightning Collection group because I was defending myself because people said I was lying.
Jesus Christ. Whatever.
Yeah, I was.
If you want to talk freely, you can go and head over and join the Kapowcast Discord, where you can talk about any of this stuff and you won't get booted.
So many people were like, "Oh yeah, right." Like they would just. I'm like, no, I'm like, but it's like it's true. Like, how can I prove it? Like, how can I prove? Like, I could show you this and this, but I can't prove it. But why would I lie about it? Like,
yeah, I mean, that's the thing. You shouldn't have to sit there and prove it like you've just murdered somebody. It's a freaking toy. Jesus.
And that kind of, like, I think in the realm of toxicity fan groups, from most to least, the top two, it probably goes the G.I. Joe and then the Lightning Collection fans.
Yeah.
And the only reason I say the Lightning Collection fans is there is this divide between people like myself and you, and maybe some of you that are watching, that are just in it for what they grew up on, the nostalgia. Like, we're just in it for MMPR, Zeo, some cases Turbo. Mm-hmm. And then there's other people that are like diehard fans and have watched like every season. And the thing is the Power Rangers brand was built off Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. That is Power Rangers. You grab a Joe Schmo off the street, they can tell you about Mighty Morphin Power Rangers as long as they're within the age group, the appropriate age group. If you go name me 4 seasons of four seasons of Power Rangers, some of them might look kind of but chances are they'll be like Mighty Morphin, and they would probably struggle after that. They could probably maybe get to Zeo, Turbo. Yeah. What's that? Space, I know, has a huge following, but like, I can't even, after that, I couldn't tell you. Because there's like Dino Fury and Mega Force and Time Force and blah, 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 and blah, 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 blah. So Hasbro continuously making Power Rangers toys or MMPR ones, isn't like they're going, oh, forget all this other stuff. They know what's making money. The sales of the MMPR ones are what's going to help get your Time Force team done, get your this, that done.
Right.
The exclusive stuff like GameStop, like that isn't coming out of the budget of an actual wave. When they do stuff like that, GameStop is paying for that. Yeah. Like, that's not fully coming out of their pocket. So in turn, they could take the money that they're going to make from that and give it elsewhere to the other figures you want. But these are bread and butter, just like Wolverine, Spider-Man, Iron Man. They're the bread and butter of Marvel Legends. Roadblock apparently is the bread and butter of G.I. Joe.
Who would have known?
Star Wars, the original trilogy is the bread and butter of that line. Like, there's always going to be a need for a Luke, a Leia, Han Solo, Darth Vader.
Some would make an argument that Mandalorian's moving in on that territory as well.
It is. Yeah, Mandalorians, But
that's a force to be reckoned with right there.
To just sit there and when they announce this stuff, go, more MMPR. Yeah, because it makes money. And I did see the argument that the only reason they think it makes money is because scalpers buy them all up. So Hasbro thinks that it's the highest selling. That is such a flawed statement.
Yeah, no,
such a flawed statement. Because I remember for a while at my Meijer,
I don't know how you can rationally sit there
sitting on the shelf. What's that?
I don't know how anybody could rationally sit there and say the team that became a national phenomenon doesn't sell well. When we
have
all
the right to be produced as it is.
What was that?
Or doesn't have the right to be produced as plentiful as it is. It's because, like I said, me and you, when the MMPR stuff's done, we tap out.
Yeah.
They need to keep the MMPR purists in the line and keep their interest. And they're doing that with the Pink Ranger set and the helmets and this and that. There's a Power Rangers was never as big as it was when we were kids.
Right.
I don't care. You could tell me that there are seasons that are better. That's fine. I'm sure there are. But it was never and will never be as big as it was when we were kids.
Yeah.
And we all have disposable incomes now for the most part.
Yeah. That's exactly why.
I feel like I'm talking in circles because it's just it blows my mind that people can't see that business standpoint of it. They're just, I want this, I want that, I want that. There's going to be more toys. You're going to have your chance. You're going to have your day in the sun.
I mean, that's the biggest thing is that you got to wait it out. I mean, I've been waiting out many of lines that still have yet to even see teams. I've seen, there's action figures I've been craving for, I would say like 90% of my adult life that still have not seen the light of day. But you don't see me crying at like NECA or crying at Hasbro or Super 7 or anybody like that. Like, why don't you do this line? I'm happy with what I can get. Like I have more toys as an adult than I ever did as a kid. Like, and I'm in my glory days. I'm like, fuck, this is great.
Right, like, I mean, it's collecting is supposed to be fun. If you're not having fun, hit the bricks, Johnny. Like, tap out, man. Like, I mean, before we wrap up, I've realized something. Like, my Power Ranger collection has taken over like an entire bookshelf now. Like, it used to be just like a couple shelves. It's almost an entire bookshelf, like top to bottom.
My goodness.
All like Power Rangers stuff, and I'm like, yep, I've gone down this well pretty hard.
Well, and then you got the opposite over here. I still have my Z putties in package, but I do have them. I finally received my Z putties.
I'm still going back and forth on the Tango Warriors. I've seen reviews. They look phenomenal. They look really good, but they're big, chunky boys.
Yeah,
so they're going to take up a lot of space.
I'm holding that if I see them, I'll get them.
Teaser, by the way, there was a teaser at the end of the fan first thing.
Oh.
They showed an image, and people think we are getting the cogs from Zeo, the army, which that's a tough one too because they have those ones have two different designs. There's the brown suits and then like the silvery metallic ones. And then they also have the heads that could go up and like the eyes shot lasers. Yeah. So it's like, oh, you could army build the shit out of those. You have all different variations, and
those were the worst villains out of all the seasons. I hated them so
What were the
much.
ones in what were the ones in Turbo? What were the foot soldiers?
Turbo was the submarine full of weird people. I can't remember.
Oh, were
any
they
of
like
their
weird
names.
fish monsters? Like
yeah. Everything seemed to be aquatic when it came with Turbo. So
Cars.
I mean, there's a couple things, but like I'm still, like I said, I'm holding out for like, you know, the A squad of MMPR. You know, because we got Goldar, and I would love to round out that whole team with Rita and all that. And Rita's
if we're talking
brother.
wish list stuff, the one thing I want to see them hopefully start doing is the Alien Rangers.
Oh yeah, I remember those guys
from when they were right before Zeo, but we haven't gotten any. We haven't had any hint of getting them.
Mm-hmm.
But I really like those suits. They were really cool.
I think it's safe to classify those as like all the other lines that you were saying. You know, like they're the ones that we'll get if MMPR can like pump out enough.
Well, the thing is about Alien Rangers, it was like this weird little, like, it was almost like just like a mini series. It wasn't this huge footnote because, like I said, it was right at the end of MMPR and right at the beginning of Zeo. It was just like this little chunk. It was like a little bit like that.
Little baby boy.
Little baby boy. But I could talk about this all day.
All day, and that's why I'm gonna cut them off.
Please do, because they're getting bored.
If you're not following us on our social media, I don't know what's wrong with you. We've told you a bunch of times. And make sure you hit that subscribe button, bell for notifications, all that good stuff. If you're listening on the podcatchers, make sure you subscribe so you never miss an episode when we release it. Hopefully it'll be a little bit more frequently now that it feels life might be kind of coming down a little bit more. I don't know. Every time I think it, something else goes wrong. So I'm not going to put that out in the universe.
We'll just be cautiously optimistic.
Exactly. And until next time when we get more toy news, I'll see you guys later.
See you at the toy box. Bye.